What would you do if you had the same dream as your best friend, on the same night, at the same hour, and that dream told you exactly where to find millions of dollars in gold? Would you laugh? Or would you pack your bags and head into the Nevada desert? According to one newspaper published in 1906, that's exactly what happened. Our story comes from the Indianapolis Star, Sunday, January 7th, 1906. Unlike many sensational tabloids of the era, the Star simply reported what the women themselves claimed had happened. It quoted them at length and let readers decide what to believe. The two women were longtime friends from New Jersey. One was Caroline J. Olds, a practical businesswoman who openly admitted she had never considered herself a dreamer. The other was identified only as Miss Smith. Unfortunately, the newspaper never gave her first name, and that small omission would become a very big problem for historians. The experience supposedly began on the morning of November 27th, 1905. Mrs. Olds later said she awoke around 3 o'clock in the morning, feeling as though someone had awakened her. Not a voice exactly, more like an overwhelming certainty. She later described it as a summons. She said she was told she had something important to do. She was to travel to Goldfield, Nevada, before Christmas. Then the vision became incredibly detailed. She described seeing a vast desert, low mountains, sagebrush, dry washes, and then something remarkable. Two women climbed over a hill. They stopped, looked at the ground, and somehow knew. The gold was directly beneath their feet. Then she realized the two women were herself and Miss Smith. Mrs. Olds immediately rode on horseback to her friend's home. She expected to wake her. Instead, Miss Smith burst outside before Mrs. Olds even reached the house. According to the newspaper, both women spoke almost simultaneously. "I was just coming to see you. I've had the strangest dream." Mrs. Olds asked, "About a gold mine?" Miss Smith simply nodded. Then Mrs. Olds described the desert, the mountain, the hillside, the hidden gold. According to both women, every detail matched. They believed they had experienced exactly the same dream, on exactly the same night. This wasn't simply a curious conversation over coffee. The women completely changed their lives. Mrs. Olds said neither of them had any money. That didn't matter. She believed whoever, or whatever, had sent the dream would somehow provide the means. Miss Smith went even further. The newspaper reported she sold many of her belongings, packed away the rest, and prepared to leave New Jersey. She believed they had been chosen. One detail separates this story from hundreds of other lost treasure legends. Miss Smith claimed she remembered the geography so clearly that she drew maps, not just a rough sketch. She reportedly prepared diagrams showing the surrounding terrain, the location of a round hill, and even where underground veins of gold supposedly ran beneath the earth. According to the newspaper, those drawings were shown to a mining engineer who reportedly said they appeared entirely reasonable, as though they had been made by someone who had actually surveyed the ground. That's an extraordinary claim. Unfortunately, if the maps still exist, they've remained hidden for more than a century. Perhaps the most fascinating part of the story isn't the dream. It's the certainty. Mrs. Olds didn't merely hope the mine existed. She insisted that she already knew. She believed she would recognize the landscape the moment she arrived. She even claimed she knew where to dig, where the tunnels should run, and where the shafts should be sunk, despite never having visited Nevada. Whether this was intuition, faith, self-delusion, or something we simply don't understand, the confidence is remarkable. Then, the trail suddenly goes cold. The newspaper expected these women to leave for Nevada within weeks. And then, nothing. No triumphant headlines, no reports of fabulous riches, no famous mine bearing their names, at least none in the newspaper archives. A deep search into Nevada's patent records might show something. After a lot of digging, An intriguing story appeared in the newspaper archives. Not proof, just a clue. 5 years later, an Oakland, California newspaper published a probate calendar. Among the names listed was Caroline J. Oles. The notice concerned the probate of her estate. Is this the same Caroline J. Oles from our story? Who knows? But considering the uncommon surname, the matching middle initial, and the fact that she intended to travel west, it is certainly possible. Unfortunately, the vast and impressive Cosmic Fold staff has been unable to locate an obituary or probate file that conclusively links the two women, and as for Miss Smith, without a first name, she effectively disappears from history. So what happened? Did two friends chase a dream into the Nevada desert, only to discover nothing? Did they find something and quietly disappear into obscurity?
This is the Cosmic Fold Live. Tonight, we're exploring the mysterious world of dreams, from forgotten newspaper stories to modern scientific research. Have you ever had a dream you couldn't explain? We'd love to hear it. Call us at 928-288-2942 or join the conversation in the chat. Welcome to the Fold.
Simultaneous dreaming. That's what I call that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And I pulled up so you could see this is a real story, and they had published it like through several different newspapers, and in one of them, it's like I'm going down a rabbit hole on this one because I think it's worth exploring deeper. So I was over at one of these old historic, one of the Nevada history things, and they were showing pictures of this town, Goldfield. And lo and behold, if I didn't see two old ladies riding on mules out there.
Wow.
So I'm not sure, but then other things have come up where it's like maybe she moved back to New Jersey, and then there's another woman with the same name who murdered her daughter in Wisconsin. But the mother and daughter of this one in New Jersey had the exact same name. So I'm going to really dig through this to try to find out what happened, but it's so interesting. And then one of the articles I found that I didn't have time to get in with, they actually went out and interviewed this engineer that looked at the maps. And he's like, yeah, this is legit. So how they both would have such a detailed dream, the exact same night, the exact same time. They didn't have phones or anything, so she trots over on her horse. And the other one's coming out to tell her about this dream. It's really remarkable.
Yeah, I've had that experience before where I've had the same dream as a friend. The first time it happened was when I was at Cal Arts. We both fell asleep on opposite couches while we were like writing in this office space, and we woke up and she started telling me about her dream, and I was and then we realized we had the exact same dream, and it was like, whoa, that is really freaky. It wasn't anything great. It was like some scientist or something. It was like a dream about some scientist, and we both had the same exact dream. And I had it happen one other time with a friend but he actually, in the dream, we recounted the dream at a dinner the next night. He had the same night as me, but in his dream, I was someone else, but I had the exact same dream as him. So I started calling it simultaneous dreaming. The reason I think people don't know about it is because we don't talk about our dreams that often. You know what I mean?
Right.
It probably happens more often than not. And maybe in their case, this was some kind of divine providence, like you guys are supposed to be rich or something. I don't know, because that's the unusual part of it, is like the fact that they got so much detail and felt compelled to actually follow that up and, potentially get wealthy. I wonder if they ever really did it though. Well,
I pulled up some things, just some things that I found, but I'm going to research this story deeper because I think there's something to it. Now, she could have been mad and weird, I don't know, or some of the weird ones could have been about her mother with the exact same name, or this woman in Wisconsin that killed her daughter. It's like, I don't know, it was so strange. But
were they all at the same time frame, the same name?
Yes.
Because that's a weird name. I mean,
yes, yeah.
That's not I don't think that's a common surname, so that seems unusual. Yeah.
So, but before I bring up some of my notes about that, I wanted to show you something, Denise. When This is an earthworm.
Oh,
And
yeah,
they-
that's what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant
and, well,
one like that.
Yeah, and they discovered these in South Africa just last week.
Wow.
So around the same time you saw that, and they're just like, this is like a brand new thing in South Africa. And apparently they're more common in Australia, but it's like something that's showing up all of a sudden.
It's weird.
Because when you said that, it was like, that is so weird. And so
It was a giant
looking.
earthworm that was like moving around like an earthworm. I was like, ah, that was creepy. It was so big, I
Yeah.
thought it was like a little snake or something, but it wasn't. Yeah.
And that's what they thought in South Africa. At first they thought it was some kind of snake. And this
Right.
little kid's holding it up and it's an earthworm. And so
Right.
they're all like looking into this about what is this with these huge earthworms. So I wonder if
Huh.
it's
I
just
saw-
weird. I don't know
It
what
is
they
weird.
means. I don't know what they mean spiritually.
Grounding,
or-
I think. I think they mean grounding. Yeah. I don't know. But that is
Interesting.
maybe we need a lot more grounding right now. So they're showing up.
Now in your area, Helen, do you have like earthworms in your area, or are they like big ones, or?
Not anymore. My chickens love earthworms.
They eat them? Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I think they eat their they're nematodes, right? I think they eat their things that are eggs. Also, it's not the correct term. They leave a wasteland everywhere they go. They'll eat everything. Yeah. They
Wow.
love earthworms. You know the cartoons with the bird with the worm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, so Darcy says that worm is freaky. If you tried to make it bait, fish would probably be intimidated.
Definitely. It would
Or you'd
definitely be.
catch some gigantic thing that would be really scary. Hey, Joy, and hey to everybody who's here. Thanks for joining us. So, well, here's a picture of one of the newspaper stories, and they devoted like 2/3 of a news page to it.
That's a
really
lot,
went
yeah.
into detail. And then some other papers of the time also did there, and they went out and interviewed these people. So it wasn't like syndicated. It was like a real
Right.
thing. They were really looking at that. And then, so some of my notes from it, I'm going down a rabbit hole on this one, but the thought crossed my mind, especially in those days, if a superior court in California was going to actually probate an estate, she
There
had
to be
to have
some
come
money in
into
it.
money somewhere. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And she had described, in these articles about how they were so poor and destitute, and the one is selling off everything she has just to afford this trip. So I'm kind of like, maybe she did, but then I saw some references that maybe she got into cattle ranching or something. I don't know. It's just so bizarre. But then the ones before 1906, a woman with the same name seemed to be a little bit nuts to me.
Wow.
And she's always filing lawsuits, like paranoid about people tampering with her mail and stuff. But that could have been her mother, who had.
could have been.
So I've got to, but and she apparently had two, and they called it athletic daughters, whatever that means. So they were raising horses.
They didn't ride side saddle.
No, yes, that's probably what that meant. So anyway, and then in other accounts, they put a Von before the old. So I don't know. I'm going to follow this up and turn it into a whole story, because whoever she is, she's very interesting. But that was so interesting about that dream. And so what inspired this? Two things: your dream repository, and then another thing, Gary sent me this article, and it's about they just concluded this great big huge dream study.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so the abstract was published July 27th, so that's just 2 days ago.
That's so
So-
weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Well, I think it's like, how we've all been talking about consciousness? I think
Yeah.
dreams are merging into that too. It's like a thing
For
that
sure.
we're all kind of looking at.
Yes.
So, kind of the highlights from this study, they're saying dreams are not random, and they studied 3,700 dreams from 287 people ages 18 to 70. Very methodical about that. And you know how they always, when we were kids, they were always saying, oh, well, dreams it's just a rehashing of your day.
yeah.
well,
It's not.
That's not true. And their study
Yeah.
showed that. Hey, Tiff, thanks for joining us. And so, anyway, they kind of got rid of that idea. Your personality affects the vividness of your dreams. You have real vivid dreams, don't you, Denise?
I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm so too tired to have really vivid dreams, but a lot of times I do. Yeah.
And what about you, Helen? Are yours very vivid?
It just depends. I have dreams that are not dreams, and they're extremely vivid. I don't know what else to call them, you know, but they're extremely vivid. I have precognitive dreams that are very, very vivid. And then I more likely will just have dreams I can barely remember. They're just fragments of, you know,
Yeah, that happens.
They're fleeting.
Yeah.
You can't quite grab them, you know.
Yeah. They don't seem as important, so you just kind of forget about them.
So, Spirit Fire Girl, thank you. Earthworm symbolizes grounding, transformation, and quiet, unseen work. It reminds us that hardship can become nourishment and that true growth often begins beneath the surface.
Nice. That's
interesting. Good. And that's what you saw. So you're growing, Denise.
Below the surface.
I know for mine, the ones that impel me, you know, that they, you know, I wake up and I can't get it out of my head for a couple days. They are so vivid, and it's always been that way for me. They're in, it's like more real than this life, actually. They are so real that I feel things, I hear things, I experience. They're just like real life for me. So, but anyway, they saw that, you know, people who tend to, you know, their mind jumps all over the place. They don't have these really strong, vivid, but those of us, you know, if you can hone in on something and really concentrate, you tend to have more vivid dreams that you remember and hang on to.
It's interesting that they also say that people's dreams are kind of a combination of blending memories, imagination, expectation, possible future scenarios, and that familiar settings are often merged with unrelated places, shifting viewpoints, or unfamiliar surroundings. Because that is always the case. It's like they're not really ever exactly in your house. There's always some weird other thing going on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like a weird combination of things. Yeah.
You know, I just finished
precognitive.
Sorry, I just finished reading a kind of a lightweight, more like an outline than a book, but it was a book. And one of the concepts it talked about was dreams and consciousness. And I'm extrapolating here, but the feeling that I got was there's a real war going on in the scientific community between the materialists who are clinging to the notion that the brain is supreme, right? And there are more and more and more people, official scientist type people, who no longer believe that. They don't embrace it anymore. They believe in non-local consciousness. They believe, you know, and the brain itself is just a transmitter. Right. That particular set of descriptions of what dreams are, you know, a mixture of this, a mixture of that. It's a very materialistic in the sense of physical reality, brain is supreme point of view. Because really, that's not what our kind of scientists believe anymore. You know, they're entertaining quantum entanglement, and they're entertaining these notions of physics that are now meeting metaphysics halfway. It's really interesting. Yeah,
I mean, who knows what? I mean, because when you are in the dream state, it's like you have a dream about selling your house, but it's not your house. It's like someone else's house, and there's other people there that you don't know. You know, there's always these strange, you're wondering, am I picking up on someone else's situation, or it's not related to me, kind of? Or I've had dreams where I'm someone else and I'm doing like, and then it'll turn out, it'll be like a news story, like the next day that I like, I'm being chased by this man. I jump off this roof, and then I'll hear the story like the next day, like some weird random thing that happened. I think a lot of times we kind of pick up on weird trauma stuff too. Well, you know what I mean?
You specifically, I think you get tortured by your psychic abilities in your sleep even. That's what that is.
Maybe.
Picking up on things. I don't ever dream that I'm somebody else. But
you don't?
No, I'm always.
I do that a lot.
But I do dream that other people are not who they look like. I told you about my mother. I dreamt that these two people, my mother's dead, these two people came into this room, and they were two women I didn't recognize, but one of them was my mother.
Wow.
And nobody said anything. My mother walked over to me. This woman, my mother, walked over to me, put a toolbox down at my feet, and they left.
That's interesting.
And when I woke up, I went, oh, okay. So this is sort of affirmation that any kind of skills or abilities I have come from my mother. Well, my mother's gone on, you know. She's busy doing her own thing. And I've never dreamt about her since she died.
Wow, that's weird.
Isn't that interesting?
That is weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, Teresa says, sometimes I don't know if something was real or a dream.
I
totally get that. I totally get that. That's,
I've had that happen. Yeah, sure.
when I was younger, I would have these dreams that I would be dreaming about people dying that I didn't know who they were.
Right.
And I would be there and help them, like cross.
Oh my God.
And sometimes I would wake up and I would be talking to people on the phone that I have no idea how any of this, and that stopped, but they were so real. Just like what Denise is saying, I would see their obituaries in the paper like a week later of these people. And some of them, I still remember it just distinctly. You know, how they passed or whatever. So maybe I was a static person showing up and
maybe.
I don't know.
In my bedroom some night.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah. I haven't had that now in like 20 years.
Right.
But it was really disconcerting for a while.
Did it scare you?
Well, it did, and that was when I saw my very first medium, because I really didn't know what that was, and I felt like, am I creating this or doing this to these? You know what I mean? I just didn't know. And and the medium experience scared me too, because I didn't know what that was either. And this lady like completely changes personalities, and she's talking, and she said that at that time what I was doing was helping people cross to the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
And she said, you've done that lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, so it just comes natural to you. And I'm like freaking out because I was like maybe 20 and I didn't know what any of this was.
Yeah.
Right.
But you know, they say that when you're asleep, you're busy. You're so busy. You know, you're not just zoning out.
No.
You do work. That's your work.
That's true.
Yeah. So Darcy writes, the most real dream that I remember was during surgery in 2022. I think it may have been an OBE, but I wasn't dying or anything. But the memory, so clear, I even remember what it sounded like.
Huh.
Wow. Details.
Yeah, what was a dream?
Yeah.
I mean, did she see the surgeons or she said out-of-body experience? Maybe she went to the other side during the surgery? I don't know.
Darcy, I'm doing a thing about near-death experiences and out-of-body experiences, and if you would be willing to come talk with me about that, you have my email. It's at the bottom of every single video. Let me know.
Yeah.
I'd love that chance to talk. Yeah.
Or call in.
Call in right now and tell us the story.
Our phone is hooked up. Hopefully it'll work. I didn't test it beforehand. But here was a super interesting finding that I had out of this, is that during the pandemic, so this shows how long that this study was going on. A lot of people were having dreams where they were confined and there were barriers and things like that. And so it shows, like some of the more mundane dreams, I think, reflect probably your experience or what you're feeling out of life. But I thought that was really interesting. And then, Denise, you're on the right track, I think, where you said you're using AI to help, categorize and interpret. And they're using that, too, creating their own their language model, basically, to take all these dreams and then find the common patterns and what's going on with that. I think that this is very interesting, and hopefully they'll keep on with the study.
I remember in the pandemic, I kept having nightmares that I was walking around without my mask on. That I would be somewhere like, I'm not wearing a mask. I have to put my mask on. Did you guys have that dream? I wonder. No.
That whole time is a complete blank in my mind.
Huh. Yeah.
For me, like when I had the COVID before it was called a pandemic, I was like all kinds of out of body kind of stuff because I was so feverish. But
Right.
while it was going on, I don't remember any real, but I was considered like one of these essential workers. And so I worked every day. So my life wasn't all that disrupted, other than
see,
just not
yeah.
a lot of people out. Oh, we got a call.
Oh, wow. Maybe it's Darcy.
We're all shocked.
Wow.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hi, yeah.
Can you hear?
Mrs. Teresa.
Hey,
During, hi,
Yeah.
during Open Heart, I think this is when this happened. It's like I found myself in this area. It was just all black. And I'm looking, and it was like, I thought it was so beautiful that it was the blackest black, that it was its own color.
Oh,
And
yes.
it was just beautiful. I wasn't afraid. And I'm looking, I got no legs, no arms, I have nothing, no eyes, but yet I know what's going on and I'm thinking. And I just stared at the black. I didn't, and then finally I said, oh, well, I'll go back to sleep. And then it was like, that's all I remember after that.
So was that
You
during
know, that's
surgery,
really-
you said? Was that during surgery, you said?
Yeah. Open heart.
Open heart surgery? Teresa?
Are you talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
Denise. Can you hear her?
Yeah, I was just asking,
No,
did
I'm
you...
going to have to get back on. Okay, I'm on the phone listening, and I'm on the phone calling you, so I got to get back online. So I'll get back on. I'll be with you in a second.
All righty. Thanks.
Okay, well, so was she
Thank
saying that was
you.
happening during open heart surgery?
I
Is
think
that what
that's
happened?
what she said. We got
Yeah.
a
Yeah, she
phone
said she'll
call,
come
you
back
guys.
on.
Oh, though, that is like that thing she's describing with the black void kind of thing. I had an out of body experience where I was walking down the stairs and walked in. I have it in my journal. Walked into this dark void. It was very much like that. It was like, it was comforting and it wasn't scary, but it was just like, why did this? It was a really weird experience. Like I didn't know what to make of it. It was just kind of odd. And I've heard other people talk about that in near-death experiences or out-of-body experiences. So that sounds like it's kind of not super common, but I've heard other people refer to that same thing. So it's
The
interesting.
last handful of NDE like videos that I've watched, they've all talked about that, and it's very comforting. This real deep,
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, it was just kind of
like
like laying there. Yeah, it was kind of like, it sort of made you feel like you're kind of like floating in this kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It had a kind of loving kind of quality about it, but it was black though. So it was kind of strange. You know what I mean? It's not what you would expect from darkness, if that makes sense.
yeah. Well, almost
Yeah.
like you're in the womb or something.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, kind of like that. Yeah,
That's the
I guess
feeling
that's
I
true.
had about it.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. Yeah.
So Darcy, and thank you so much for calling. That we finally got another call here, and the thing
Yeah, that's
actually
awesome.
worked.
I know, it was great.
So Darcy says, I was somewhere else with a man. This was during her surgery. I was somewhere else with a man who wasn't actually human, but he told me his name, talked with me about my path, and when they woke me in surgery, I heard my name being shouted from behind me far away. The story
Oh, wow.
continues. Then I felt a pull in my belly, and I was jerked backwards away from him and woke crystal clear in the OR.
Yeah.
Wow.
That belly thing, that's like kind of where the that's like where your soul is. Yeah, like
Thread,
that's
yeah.
like it's like that's your core. That's where the will chakra is, and that's kind of where when you do the mediumship thing and you sit in the power, you visualize the white orb there, and you kind of pull it out, make it go really big, and bring everything in and come back. That's kind of the place where you come back in, if that makes sense. So it's kind of
Yeah.
interesting that she felt it there.
I
Yeah.
I've got a question for you guys.
Oh.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Darcy,
I'm lagging with my slow internet. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't want personal details. I'm just curious, did he tell you anything about your path that was a surprise to you or new to you, or that evoked some sort of resistance or happiness? I mean, any kind of emotion? What was that like, being told, whoa, this is your path?
Okay.
Now we have to wait for her
Yeah.
to write.
Now we have to wait for her to
We'll
type
wait
it.
for her to write the thing. But while we're waiting, I have a question you guys might know, because I don't know the answer to this. This was also one time I was younger and had just moved to Arizona. And I had this like dream or whatever or vision, and there's a gold cord and a silver cord that went way up, and my silver one was really frayed. And in the dream somehow it was like, if this cuts, you die. It was like I was told I had to work on the silver. The gold one was fine, but not the silver. Is that something you got? I don't know what that is. I should probably look it up.
Well, I've heard, like, I know in that book, which I don't know if I read it, but I remember some of the pieces of it. But that Shirley MacLaine book, she talked about going out of body and seeing a silver cord. I haven't had that experience.
That's
I mean, when I go out of body, I don't see any cord or anything. I'm not paying attention to that, I guess. I don't know. But I would think that would be the cord that goes from your physical body. This is like an ethereal energy, right? It's silver to your consciousness. And then the gold one would probably be more to your higher self, I would think. I don't know. That's my guess.
I've never heard
So-
the gold one, but the silver
So-
one.
Yeah, it was very interesting
Yeah.
and unexpected. I had been out camping and had a weird experience, was out there meditating. And I was just really tired, so I pulled off at some parking lot and fell asleep, in my truck. And then I saw this. So I don't know if it was I'd never seen it since. And
Right.
I didn't know what those were. I
Can
just didn't.
Can I ask you a question? Was the silver cord situation, was that before or after you had your accident? Or one of your major accidents?
No, it was shortly before.
Okay,
Yeah, it
well, it might
was
have been a
before.
warning. Yeah,
Yeah, it could have been.
that you're not being
Okay, so
grounded.
Teresa, I think
Yeah. Sorry.
So Teresa's who called, I think.
Yeah.
She always wondered if it was an NDE. I think it was.
Yeah,
That's my
it sounds
gut
like it.
for whatever it's worth. Very interesting.
Yeah,
Very
it is
interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
So, all right, this is, Helen just loves this one. It's the scientific explanation of dreams. These are the ones that science basically, accepts as true. They say of the different types, some are emotional processing dreams.
Right.
Then they classify
That's
some as
true.
nightmares.
Mhm.
This kind of threw me that 2 to 8% of adults have them weekly. I was just like, oh my gosh, that many nightmares?
Nightmares? Wow, that's unprocessed
So-
trauma right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if what they're saying is true, that it's for stress and overwhelm, that kind of stuff, that doesn't bode very well for the state
No.
of our adult life.
Wow,
They also
that's
recognize lucid dreams.
Yeah,
That kind of
that's-
became a thing in 1981. Vivid dreams are the kind that feel intensely real with sharp sensory detail or big emotions. And I think somebody had said something earlier about you can't tell if they're real or dreams sometimes. I would think
Yeah.
that those are those vivid kind of dreams. They're trying to link them to hormonal shifts, pregnancy, medication, illness. I don't, like I said, I don't exactly buy all of it, but this is what science says. And then
Right.
recurring dreams, dreams whose themes or scenarios repeat, frequently tied to unresolved stress.
Yes,
That's
I
what
think
they
that's
say.
true. A reoccurring dream. The only time I ever had a reoccurring dream was when I was a child, and it was the same dream over and over again. It was clearly about my crazy mother, and my trying to process the relationship with her. Because as soon as I got old enough, it dissipated and just it made sense like logically. But I have to say that the whole idea that the vivid dreams are hormonal or something or whatever, or related to drugs. I mean, I had dreams when the moth creature was coming to my window, like where I would be talking to someone on the phone and having a conversation kind of it was like the dream was I'm half asleep and half awake. And they told me every single thing that happened in their entire day. And then I would talk to them later and be like, why are you telling me all this again? And repeat all the things that had happened in their day. And I don't know how hormones would do that. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
I
Doesn't really
just
make
use that
sense.
definition of recurring dreams. I've had recurring dreams that recurred and recurred.
Like
until
the
they happened
accident
in
with
real
your
life.
teeth?
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
That's a different kind of recurring dream, though. Yeah, that's I've had that too. Like before I was put into a medically induced coma when I was 17, but I started having recurring dreams about being in a coma when I was like 9, 10 years old, over and over and over again. It was really scary. And then I'm like, oh, now I know why I had those dreams, because it was this experience. But there are like really psychological dreams. Like I had this dream repeating over and over again when I was like probably from age like 2 or 3 till about 6 or 7, where I went to go to see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs at the movie theater, and there was this a guy in a top, a ringleader, for like a circus, who was standing there with a whip, and he was really creepy, and he was like at the door. We went in, we're waiting in the area because there's only one. You know how that is. All the curtains were gold. You're waiting for the show to let out so you can go in, because that's before multiplexes. And you could hear screaming coming from inside the
God.
theater. And somehow, how you do that and bifurcate in dreams. And all of a sudden I was in the theater watching. Snow White had come off of the screen and was running around with an axe, or like, no, a scythe. And she was just like cutting people, and people were screaming. And I was like, and it repeated over. Now, there was a weird psychic component to it as well, besides that. Because once we moved out of the area, I stopped having those dreams. And I was picking up on a lot of other weird things, but that was also the area that we lived in, the kind of hunting ground of that serial killer that used to do lots of paintings of Snow White. What was his name? Oh my God, the guy that buried not Gary. He buried all of those young men under his house in Chicago.
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy, yes. And so when I saw his art later, and I thought about the weird corresponding thing that we lived in the area where he was doing that, and then as soon as we moved out of the area, I stopped having the dream. I started thinking, well, maybe there was also a psychic kind of component, like picking up on the kind of him hunting people in that area, because the area where that dream kept taking place was actually was this movie theater, and this exact area where he had taken a lot of young men. And I had been there, and I probably couldn't process it as a kid. I didn't know what I was picking up on.
Right.
But then the metaphor too, though, of, that Snow White story is like, and maybe this is why he painted it all the time, was because, there's Snow White who is being, tortured by her stepmother, right? And then there's, you know what I'm saying? And she's being hunted and stuff like that. And there's that whole element of victimization and stuff like that from this horrible mother figure. So it makes you wonder maybe if there isn't something like that going on in his psychology or something. You know what I mean?
You know what's really weird?
What?
The first movie I ever saw was that Snow White.
Was it?
And
it's a creepy movie. It's a creepy ass movie. It really is.
I had nightmares all night. I thought, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a creepy movie. It's very scary.
Yeah, I never watched it. Well, we've got a few comments here.
Okay.
Joe, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name, so I'm just calling you Joe. Hello, I went to psychic school and they taught me about cords. They get used like tires. You can replace them. Interesting.
I think it's the same thing because Callie Healer, when she does healings, she talks about breaking cords.
Well, those are dark.
Those are like emotional cords.
Yeah,
that's
they're different.
Yeah, but maybe
they're very different.
Yeah.
So spirit fire.
Denise, I have never had the cord experience either. I've had many OBs and astral travel experiences, but always wondered if I missed out on that. I know. I never have either. I never have. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just, I don't know why that is.
Yeah, it was so strange, and it wasn't anything I had heard of before. And it was like I was just looking up and could see it. It just went into infinity, whatever they were.
Wow. Right. I think they're this mortal coil. They're your mortal coils. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
and the one is frayed. And I think maybe you kind of were getting a message to be grounded or something because you were
Right.
getting close to having a really serious accident. That's my
Yeah.
interpretation.
That makes sense. And the gold one being so strong, if that is like the
Your
spiritual side,
spiritual
it was like,
connection.
it was
Yes.
telling me, it was showing
You'll
me.
be able,
Anyway, it
yeah,
was
okay.
interesting.
Yeah,
It was
you're
very
hooked
interesting.
into that. Yeah, that is interesting. Yes, during
Yes,
surgery.
doing
Okay.
surgery. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was probably no out-of-body experience. Gold is
Oh.
yang energy, silver is yin energy. Yeah, that's true. And gold is like
Interesting.
associated with it's associated with kind of like
The Oval
yeah.
Office.
Yeah, very true.
Isn't that looking like a hoarder's like hut or something? It's just like, oh my god,
It looks
it's
like
so awful.
it looks kind of like we've moved to Eastern Europe, kind of.
It looks like
It's
Poorhouse
very Eastern
meets
European.
Winter Palace.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
But on a higher plane, what does gold mean? I
Well,
use
gold-
it in
yeah.
meditations. It's very strong for me and
Yeah, gold
protective.
gold is. I mean, that's true. Gold is more connected to your will, kind of that color, and silver is more connected to kind of your intuitive side. So that is true. Yeah. That's my
Okay,
only-
so yin and yang. A couple more
Yeah.
comments here. Snow White had it with those messy dwarfs she moved in with.
Didn't you just relate to her fate in life? I felt sorry for her.
Yes,
Cleaning
yes,
up after
totally.
everybody again.
Oh yeah, terrible.
I
Yes.
never watched that movie because all those like childhood stories of that time I thought were horrible. They were just
They're
like the
scary.
Bible to me. They were scary and
They're
awful,
scary,
so I just
yeah.
never read them.
Well, you
I
didn't
just
get to
didn't.
go to movies, did you? I mean, they're
Yeah, you probably didn't go to
demonic,
movies. Yeah. Did you guys
Yeah,
even
we
see
went to
movies?
some.
right? You did. Oh.
I remember when we were kids, they went to a drive-in. They had like those, those big
Yes.
drive-in
That's
theaters.
where I
Yeah.
saw Snow
Yeah.
White.
And my parents used to love the James Bond. And I still remember. Okay,
you
this
kidding
is
me?
crass. No, and we were supposed to be sleeping, and I remember Pussy Galore. I just still remember that. and I didn't know what it meant. And then,
Oh yeah, right.
no.
Of course not.
so we saw a bunch of those, and then the theater. They had this really cool theater in this little town, like close to where. And so we saw all of the. What were those? Not Star Trek. What were those
Star Wars?
things? Star Wars. Saw
Yeah,
those.
those are good. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But
I don't
Wait,
even
they
think
were-
I ever saw. I don't even remember ever going to see Snow White though. That's the thing. I don't
Oh,
remember
so
ever
you
seeing
didn't
it.
see
in a
it.
movie. I don't think I ever saw it, but I don't think I actually saw it in the movie.
You were
theater.
picking up
until
on my
older.
drama.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember seeing it actually. The only movie I remember seeing that was a Disney movie in the theater was Fantasia when I was a kid. That's the only one I remember. Did you ever
for me,
see that one?
Herbie and the
I didn't
Love
like it.
Bug. The Love
Herbie
Bug.
Love Bug. Yes,
That
I saw
one was
that
good.
too. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the only animated one. It's a
Can you
tether.
guess which
Yeah.
Disney movie I like the best? This will crack you up.
Beauty and the Beast.
Of the cartoons, that actually is true. I like the music from it.
That's what I thought.
Mary Poppins.
Oh yeah, well that's a fun
Oh,
one. That's a sweet.
yeah.
That's a
Dancing,
sweet.
you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That makes
okay.
sense. I could see that.
Is 100 years old.
He's still alive?
Yes, he's
Oh my
100
goodness.
years
Wow.
old, and he looks great.
Wow.
He's a testament to exercise. I hate to say it.
I guess. Or good genes. Yeah.
A bit of both. Okay, so
Wow.
Jill says it's a tether. I
It's
think
a tether,
talking about
yeah.
the cords.
Yeah.
That's the White House decor. Yep,
Yeah.
it does.
Gold, the sun,
Gold, the
hearts,
sun, and
silver,
heart,
moon.
silver, the moon. Interesting. HBH always has
Yeah,
good
that's right.
insight. Everybody
that's
has good insight. So.
Yeah, that's true.
St. Francis, you know, brother, sun, sister, moon. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yates.
Okay.
The golden apples of the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Silver apples.
So
of the moon.
those are the scientific kind of dreams. And these science kind of, they like acknowledge it, but the categories are blurred. Daydreams,
Mm-hmm.
night terrors, not the same as nightmares.
Yes, I
because
know
they
people
involve
do.
these
Because they
physical
physically get up
reactions.
and do crazy stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then false awakenings. You wake up, go about your normal routine, only to realize you were still dreaming.
I don't like
have had
this.
that.
I have had
Have
that
you
too. and I
had
do
those?
not like that. I do not like that. You feel like you're being tricked. I hate
Yeah.
those actually.
I mean, the first time I remember having that, it was after I had surgery.
Yeah.
And then I was like, so maybe it was like the meds or something.
Yeah, could
But
be.
yeah, I literally thought I got up and I was doing things. And then when I had a head injury, I did that too. And so I was like going about stuff until I finally pick up the phone, and a whole like 2 weeks had gone by. I'd never contacted anyone. I was just living my
Wow.
life. How I even survived during all of that, I don't know.
Wow.
But
It's
yeah,
like a
it
blackout,
was like,
an alcoholic blackout.
is that what those are? Okay,
That's what-
it
yeah,
was
they
just
don't
like,
remember anything. You form no memory at all of what's happening to you, but you function in the present.
yeah,
Right.
but except for it was
Huh.
in like a dream where I'm functioning, cooking, doing
Yeah, you
everything.
guys,
It's
you
like,
guys are disturbed. I don't know about it.
Yeah.
I have surgery. I go out like a light. Nothing happens, and I wake up, and I'm jealous. You know, everybody
no.
else is having all these experiences.
Well, no. I mean, most of the time when you have surgery, you just kind of, you don't remember anything. You know what I mean? I haven't had that happen in surgery where I woke up or had an out of body experience. No, they've been outside of surgical
Yeah, but I
settings.
go to sleep, and then I wake
Yeah.
up, and it's morning. I'm not creepy doing weird things.
Oh.
I sleep.
You've never had that experience where you wake up and you think you're awake and then you realize I'm not awake.
I'm either
Like this
awake
is
or
not
asleep.
normal. Like there's like a leopard walking through my room right now. That's not normal. I'm sleeping, and then you wake, and then you go back and you go try to wake up again, and then you think you're awake,
No,
and you're like, no, I'm not awake. I think
I'm
it's
a very black
exhaustion
and white
is what that is.
thinker. You're either one thing or the other. I'm never,
Oh well, maybe
wandering around in a haze.
I think that comes from real extreme exhaustion. That kind of like you're too tired to like get up and do the things you want to do, but you consciously want to get up, and your consciousness is like, okay, let's do some stuff, and then your body's like, no, we're not going to wake up right now.
I mean, mine were so vivid. It's like,
Yeah,
but I think
exactly.
mine were like probably medically
yeah,
affiliated or
Yes.
something, because
Yeah, I
one
think
was a
that,
head
yeah.
injury. Another
Right.
one
Well, there you
when
go.
I was a bee sting that I had that like shock reaction to.
Oh yeah,
And then the other one was after the surgery. But I still remember them as clear because it was so disconcerting when I came to.
Yeah.
It was like,
Yeah.
I mean, literally going, cooking, doing your whole day. And it was going to the computer, working, remembering like work stuff that I shouldn't have known because I wasn't, it was so weird. It made me
Yeah.
think
You weren't forming.
we have
memory,
double
that's what
lives
that
or
was.
something.
yeah. I wasn't. I mine never got
Huh?
that far. Usually, I kind of like would realize I was not awake, like within a minute or so, going,
Yeah, I
something's
don't
not
think
right
you were
here.
asleep, Deborah. I think you were awake, but whatever was going on with your physical brain, you weren't forming memory.
Maybe
So you were awake and you were.
No,
functioning
one of them
normally.
one of them I remember my friend Elaine was over watching me after the surgery. And when I remembered all of that, then when I woke up, she goes, oh, you finally woke up. And I
Right. So
what were
remembered
you
literally.
doing?
I was
doing all
living
her
my
stuff.
day. I just, yeah. I was getting up, making breakfast, doing stuff. It was so real. Cooking
You
even
think
for
it's a
Oh,
her, it was
parallel-
like,
Parallel universe.
I don't
parallel
know. It's when I saw that they called it like a wait. I don't know what they are, but they're very unsettling because they're
Yeah.
so real.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
like I would have dismissed the other ones as I didn't remember or whatever. But the fact that
Right.
she was over and she was like watching me,
Right.
and I was like dead asleep, and then she's like, "Oh, you finally woke up," and I'm like arguing with her. No, I wasn't. I made you breakfast, and she's like,
Right.
"No, you didn't. You were asleep the whole time." So
Right.
it definitely wasn't.
I think it was probably your body was so exhausted and you were in recovery mode, and your consciousness was like, I'm ready to go, and just kind of
yeah,
split.
yeah. This
You know
is
what I
a
mean?
waste of time.
Yeah, I don't want to lay here and do nothing. Yeah.
Yep. That's very much
Deborah,
me too.
I know it is.
That's the difference between you and me. You have boundless energy. You're always doing something. I'm lazier than a slug, and
That's not true.
Oh no,
Well,
I'm very lazy. I just go into this whole like berating myself for wasting time. So it doesn't matter how tired I am. I just make myself do stuff. So
Well,
you
that's
know
not
I'm sick
lazy,
if
then.
I actually sleep or whatever, because it's like, I don't know. It could be that Midwest work ethic or something. I don't know. I'm
believe
just
a
that
word
way.
You're saying. You write essays
Virgo.
every single day, and you're at work 12 hours, and you do this. I mean, oh my
Yeah,
God,
right.
you do more.
Yeah,
in
you
one
do work
day.
a lot. Yeah, you're workaholic.
Yeah.
You're Virgo.
Oh, yeah.
Virgos work a lot. They're workaholics a little bit.
Yeah. They just, but when I crashed, man, well, kind of like when Justine and I went to that teepee. It was like,
Right.
I just like crashed. I was gone.
You're so
So
tired.
it wasn't very fun for her. Yeah, it just like hit me. Oh, I'm on the earth, and bam, fall asleep. Gone for the night. A glass of wine didn't help either because I rarely drink, so that helped knock me out. So it was like,
Yeah. I bet.
You
So,
wild
okay.
thing, a whole glass of wine.
Oh, I used to party, believe me. Now that I'm older, it upsets my stomach, so I don't. So, okay. So then the next, so science says, oh, well, we don't support this, but culture accepts these as real dreams. Some
Right.
are like visitations, where you're either visiting with somebody living, dead, or non-human entities, and then prophetic, precognitive dreams.
Right.
So I pulled some stories from like turn of the century stuff if you want to watch them. But my question about this, like science says, well, people don't report them before the fact, so it's just a false memory.
I do.
So,
I do all the
right.
time.
Well, and I was just going to say, some people do, and you just are not participating in their study. So
Yeah, right.
I think the
Well, if you're-
rationale is flawed on that.
Yeah,
because-
yeah. I mean, you're going to take 1,000 or 2,000 people, and I mean, you should actually study people who have these dreams and report having dreams, and then I post them. This is why I started blogging in 2008 to like show like, this pattern of I know this thing is coming, then the thing comes. I know this thing is coming, then the
Yes.
thing comes. So like I'm trying to provide like actual, empirical evidence that there is something to this stuff. That's why I started doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
But
and
sometimes
that's
you
why.
don't know. So I think that's true for you because you're attuned to it. But I think sometimes people will have a prophetic dream and not realize till after the fact. Oh my God, I read that happened to me. With
Sure,
that
yeah.
plane crash. As it was happening, I was like, oh, this was my dream. But I had actually told somebody. Come to think of it, I had told my friend that I was hanging out at the beach with. I guess that's lucky because it's sort of your eyewitness, right? It's your evidence.
Right. Well, that's what started happening. That's how I figured it out. Was I told people, and then things happened.
Yeah.
My mother also had prophetic dreams, and my grandmother and people in my family. So one time, my mother she was living in Santa Barbara, and she looked at this newspaper and she read about this young woman who she knew the name of had been murdered by her boyfriend, and the whole story. And she came to work because she was working at this inn, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened!" And she starts talking about the young woman and the headline and the girl and how the girl was murdered and where it happened, and all the details of what happened. And the woman behind the other woman that was working was like, "Oh, I haven't heard of that yet. Yeah, and I don't know. Oh, it's in the paper. Okay." So then the next day it happened and it was in the newspaper. And the woman's like, she was like really freaked out. She showed my mother the paper. This happened today. And so that was proof that she had the full blown, it scared my mother. My mother was
she didn't
scared of that
embrace
stuff.
any of that, did she?
No, she was terrified of that. Yeah.
Well, and I think sometimes, like, you have very large world event sort of prophetic visions, but I think a lot of time people have them where they're just more
Personal.
or
Yeah, totally.
with their
Yeah.
Oh, good.
With their family
oh,
members.
oh, I have a great.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
we're getting a call. Yay! Another call.
Hey there. Hi there.
We can't hear her.
Hello.
Hey,
There we
you're
go.
on. How you doing?
Hi, my name is Yolanda,
Hey,
and
Yolanda.
I'm part of Denise's psychic development group.
Oh,
And
Good. Thank you for calling.
hi.
Hey,
Hey.
did you have a
great.
Sorry, I have the thing playing. I need to mute that. Okay, because there was a
you were getting
background.
an echo.
But
Yeah.
yeah. But I was just calling. Normally, I don't catch a live, but I just happened to catch this one.
It's our
Awesome.
lucky
So I
day.
thought
Cool.
Yeah. Do you have anything
I
to
thought
say?
I'd call in and talk about my I can't even say it. Prophetic dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now so I just hear you, but I don't hear
Oh, you don't hear
Helen
them?
and Denise with that. No, not without
Just as well.
having the echo on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, I can repeat what they say if you can't hear them. So they just want to hear your
Okay.
prophetic dream too. So
Oh, okay. Well, it was in. I just started writing the dreams down in my. It was in 2020, just last year in the summer, and then I was in the backyard with my mother, and I saw this scorpion, but it had two tails, and so I
Ooh.
picked it up to show it to my mother, and we were looking at it, and then one of the tails stung me, and then one of the tails stung her. And
Ooh.
so, but then I didn't know, but my mother, she had brain tumors, and so come Scorpio season, she went into a coma and then passed away
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
that same year.
Wow. Okay, so if you
Yeah.
can't hear the folks, everyone is saying, oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Denise, what do you pick up about the significance of the two tails on the scorpion?
Well, the scorpion is, that's in astrology, that's it's obviously a harbinger of death and transformation, right?
So
That had two tails is just, it was affecting her and her mother,
Connection. Yeah.
the
okay, so
connection
what she
between them.
said, if you didn't hear, Denise said that is in astrology a sign of death, and it was affecting the two of you because of the two tails. Interesting. Wow. Wow.
Okay.
Wait, ask her when did her mother
Well,
pass?
I'll
Was it
just
during
hang
the-
up
She
now and
wants to-
listen, but
okay,
I
but
just thought I'd call and
Denise
say that.
has thank you. Denise has a question for you, and her question
Oh,
is,
okay.
when did your mother pass?
She got the tumor started bleeding in her brain in November, like November the 13th, and so she went into a coma, and that was Scorpio season.
Scorpio.
Yeah, that's what I
She
thought.
stayed
That's
alive until Sag season started, and then passed
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Okay,
That's what I
so
want. Yeah, that's what I thought. I
that
wondered if the
confirmed what
Scorpio-
Denise thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry you can't hear the other people here, but gosh, we sure appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought I'd
Thanks for-
try the phone number. I was like, she always says people don't call in, and I was like, well, I'll try it.
Yes. Well, we sure appreciate it. We're going to turn this into a thing. Thank you
That's
so
awesome.
much.
Thank you.
All right.
That's so
Bye-bye.
cool. Wow, that's great that she called in. But yeah, that's really like a double. That's sometimes like
Yeah,
premonitory
that's
dreams
Scorpio.
are often layered like that.
Yeah.
So the meaning of the scorpion as the transformative death kind of character, but also the fact that it had two stingers, it hurting her and her mother, that it happened during the Scorpio season, all that is kind of in that dream,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Very,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and if people didn't understand the symbology, I think a lot of these are very symbolic.
They are. They often
And
are.
so
Yeah.
that could be why, a lot of people don't report it like before the fact. Like scientists
Yeah,
say,
they don't
well, it's
understand
an
it.
altered.
Right.
Right. They don't know what it is until
They don't know what it
after
means.
the fact.
Right. That's
I
right.
mean, even
sometimes-
religious text that's very symbolic, and
Yeah,
then it makes
absolutely.
sense afterwards.
Right.
Well,
Go
that's
ahead,
right.
A
Helen.
lot of times those dreams are innocuous. I have to tell you this dream I had. It's a crack up, and this is really typical for me, and I think it's probably more common for most people. So one night I had this dream that I went into my local grocery store, and there was Delft. Do you know what Delft? That white and blue Dutch china.
Oh, you
Yeah,
told me
I
about
have
it
some.
before, but
Yeah.
I've never seen.
Collect
Yeah.
it, right? It's got
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
windows and okay. So I woke up and I thought, well, that was weird because I'm not into it, right? So I got up and I went to the grocery store and I walked in and it was a big display. It was one of those spend $25, get one free piece of,
Oh, right.
Yeah, what does that mean? Nothing. I mean, it's
Well, no, but
hilarious.
that happens to me all the time too. Like I will have a dream before I talk to a client about something related to them. Like I'll have a dream like I'm an engineer and I'm dealing with blah blah blah, and then I'll call to the person I've never met before calls, and I'm talking to them, and they're an engineer and they're dealing with blah blah blah. I don't. Little things like that happen a lot. I think you pick up on sort of premonitions, little weird premonitions about the next day and stuff like that
But
that you
people,
don't
if
know.
you talk to them, they would deny that was, a premonition.
They would call it a
I
coincidence.
agree, Teresa. Sorry about her mother's passing there.
Yeah,
I
it
agree
is
with
sad.
that.
Yeah, it's awful. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people. Also, a lot of people just don't put together these things.
That's what I
You
mean.
know,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times things are happening to people and they just are not aware. Like
Right.
if Yolanda wasn't paying attention to her dream, she would just think, "Oh, that's a weird dream about a scorpion," and just discard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it told her so much information about what was going to happen, and so she was paying attention. But a lot of people have stuff like that happen and they just, for whatever reason, they don't put any weight to it, or culturally there's no significance, so they don't bother to think about their dreams, or pay attention to them at all.
Here's a weird dream thing that I read about, and I thought back on it, and I went, "Oh my God!" So it's very, very common for pregnant women to dream about water. So they'll dream about rivers, oceans, cups of water, rain, whatever. So it's true.
Maybe it's because of the embryo kind of in your sac.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you increase your blood volume like something incredible, like 2/3 or something. So yeah, you're thinking about water, right? So I had this dream when I was pregnant once that I went in my backyard, the fence had like the Niagara Falls coming down. And I spent the whole night trying to claw my way up this waterfall in my backyard.
Oh no, that sounds awful.
Isn't that hilarious? No, but it's hilarious because
I don't remember having any dreams about water when I was pregnant. It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't really remember many of my dreams. I don't remember my dreams because I was having such bad migraines. I couldn't really sleep very well. It might have been. I don't know.
I dreamt I had my first daughter on the couch, which is interesting because I had all the rest of them at home on the dining room floor on purpose. But my first daughter, I dreamt she was born on the couch one day. I was in my dream. I was taking a nap and I gave birth to kittens.
That's funny.
I just remember holding this baby and looking at it and going, "Oh my God."
Well, that's crazy.
It's
so crazy.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Well, one of the things that didn't, in this brief research that I did about these different dream types that did not come up are intentional dreams. And this, one that I could strongly remember, I was working on a case and we were trying to resolve some water rights.
Right.
In our state, Arizona is first in time, first in right. And there was one little piece of property that should have been part of a decree, and for some reason the water rights were all screwed up, and so we're dealing with all of this trying to straighten. I mean, we're all like pulling our hair out, like, what is wrong with this? So that night, I intentionally asked for this woman that this right was named after to show up in a dream and tell me what happened.
Right.
And lo and behold, she did. It was like in the 1800s. It was before 1864. And she was showing me how the patents there during that time, with the Civil War brewing and all of that, a lot of these stagecoaches would be put on fire and stuff. And so her paperwork didn't make it. And her husband had died, and women couldn't own property rights.
Right.
And
Right.
so she literally told me sources where to go to find out, and she told me the name of her son and that it was in his name. And I mean, it was a very detailed. Now that could have been my name, or I mean, my brain just using
Putting together
subconscious
information.
logic
Right.
and putting
Yeah,
it
could have been.
together.
Yeah. Right.
But the dream itself was so real. It was like
Right.
I was back in time and talking to this woman. And I even looked up this stagecoach that was supposed to be there, and sure enough, it had been, lit on fire, and bandits took it. And so I think that's something we can do too, are very intentional
Well, yeah. Well,
if you have
there
a
are
problem.
there are a lot of stories of people like Einstein or Edison or people who are trying to invent things, who would do that. Who would like, I want to have like I want to figure this out, and then they would and I've done that like when I was learning new things, like I was learning how to do computer animation, and I would have dreams that would basically teach me how to do it in my dreams. um I don't know if, like you said, I mean, maybe it's just some other part, like it's a spirit guide telling you stuff, or if you're talking to a dead person, or if it's some kind of part of
Yeah.
your brain that's able to work through things in a way that you can't do normally. But a lot of people report that, though. you
Yeah.
know
And it could have even been like scanning old newspaper stuff when we were trying to
who
find it.
knows?
Maybe I saw
Yeah.
something about stagecoaches.
Right.
So maybe it was just, high processing ability
Right.
that did that. But, you know, it doesn't work for me like if I need a spiritual answer, something I usually don't get answers in
Yeah,
dreams.
that's those kind
But
of dreams are more pragmatic. It's true.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
very like a problem solving thing. Like,
Yeah,
how do I
problem solving
fix
dreams.
this?
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah.
to me,
Yeah.
it's just like using, okay, so let's see, HBH says, I always pray for guidance in my dreams.
I do too.
Oh, in your
So,
dreams.
yeah.
you do that. Oh,
So, do you get guidance in your dreams?
me?
All of you.
Well, this is
Oh.
yet another aspect of the metaphysical world that doesn't work for me. I have never had the dream I wanted to have. Like, tonight I'm going to dream about this person who died. My neighbor who died. We made a deal. Whoever died first would get in touch with the other one.
Well, it isn't over.
Well, it's been over a year.
Well, that doesn't matter. Maybe he doesn't know how to do it yet, or she doesn't know
Well,
how
I'm
to do it yet.
impatient. I don't like this waiting around. So, no, never.
Doing the same.
So
Yeah.
HBH comes from a family of dreamers and gets guidance all the time from her dreams or his
very
dreams.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
right.
cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, but I always pray for guidance. Like, I mean, however it's supposed to come, and if it comes in the
When
dream,
you're
it comes in the
awake.
dream. When I'm awake, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
pray in my dream necessarily, but I have. Yeah, I've never really thought to do that, but that's a good idea. Okay,
So Darcy's got them too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not as
yeah.
clear as her surgery thing, but she does get answers. True.
Yeah, I think it's, especially if you're really working on a problem, like you're trying to figure something out, that's often where it gets resolved, is in the dream, if you're trying to figure something out. Yeah, something about that.
Well, damn.
And have you even had that
To
happen?
show.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. HB says, my girls and I talk about our dreams. They always seem to converge. That is so cool that you do. What a great parent.
My granddaughter, who's 9, called me last week, and she wanted to share.
Oh,
that-
yeah.
This is so weird. This child is so psychic, and nobody else will listen to her, So I said, tell me about it. She is seeing her dead cat. She has 2 new cats. They've had them for a couple of years. 2 black cats. Isn't that interesting? But her first cat died, and she sees it occasionally sitting with the other cats, or just sitting in the corner looking at her. And she says, nobody believes me. Granny, they think I'm crazy. And I said, you're not crazy. your cat's getting in touch with you. They're
Yeah,
very,
right.
very spiritual
Yeah.
animals. You've got to connect.
Yeah, right.
But she was telling me that she didn't want to tell me what the dreams were. I think they really upset her. And she said, I have these really strange dreams and they're really bothering me. And what do you do when you have dreams like that? And I said, well, you keep a dream journal. And she goes, oh, that's a good idea. So I sent her one. I said,
Oh, that's so cute.
yeah. And she was, my daughter texted me and said, oh my God, she was thrilled.
That's
Oh,
good.
I
nice.
think weighing heavily on her,
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I'm dying to know what her dreams are.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to push it, but I'm dying
Right.
to know.
That's so cute.
So Dorinda is a big dreamer. She gets all the dreams, all these different
All of
categories
them.
out of our list.
Same.
I've had shared dreams, which is a trip. Is that what
Yes.
you mean by converge?
I
Yeah.
call it simultaneous dreaming. That's what I came up with, because it was like you're having the same dream at the same time. And it's a weird experience when you have that happen. Doesn't happen that often, but yes, dream journal is really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's really cool.
helpful. Yeah, they're very helpful. Oh,
Yeah, I had a dream about you, Denise, a couple of weeks ago. It was kind of
you did?
odd. Yeah.
What did you
It
dream?
was so
It was a
strange.
nightmare.
No, it wasn't. It was just very weird. We had gone to, like, there was like this meeting at this place of these people. I don't know who they were. The only one there that I recognized was you. And it was beautiful. It had like glass that went way, way, way up. It was a very expensive, like, resort sort of place. And it was like this breakfast. It was definitely a breakfast. And so I go there and there was like all this light coming in. And for some reason, I was wearing gloves during this, like tight gloves. And everyone just kind of looked at it and they didn't seem to think anything of it, like it was weird or anything. And then I happened to see you over there and I was, oh, somebody I know. And you are wearing them too. I don't know why we were wearing these gloves. And but anyway, they brought out, and it was just this, and then it was just like in passing. You were down at the other end of the table, and I was talking to other people, and they were bringing out the most wonderful, like, fruits, and I mean,
Wow.
just really, and it was this beautiful place. So anyway, I woke up, and I was like, why the heck was I wearing gloves? And
Surgical gloves or fabric?
no, they were like cleaning gloves, those latex,
Latex
they were
gloves.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so anyway, I did a lot of looking, and what it said was that we had learned how to, like, if people had negative emotions, to keep, like, away from getting
Distance.
contaminated. So it was like,
Ah.
yeah, I can be in your space, but you can't it was like a,
Yeah, right. It almost seems like a sanitary thing. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I was
that's
I
what it
gonna
was.
Say they're eating,
Yeah.
right? They're all eating. So
Right.
yeah.
What's happening right now in the news is that
Yeah.
diarrhea.
Yeah.
coming
Yeah, right.
from
That too. Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought of that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
interesting. But it was just such a strange, it was like a meaningless sort of dream.
Right.
And all these people that were there, and I didn't know who they were, but you were like the only one I recognized. And this
Right.
place is just gorgeous. It was like real nice stone. You know those kind of places. You've seen them like
Right.
at the Biltmore. It was like a Biltmore kind of
Wow.
place. And it just had
Right.
this beautiful hall, and the way this glass went up probably 2 or 3 stories with, it was just gorgeous. Whatever
Right.
this place was.
Well,
it
you're
was a
the only two
feast.
people in the crowd
interesting.
aware of, staying away from contamination.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everybody, no one else had them, but yet they didn't like act like it was weird at all.
Right.
Because I kind of looked down and I thought, oh, nobody else, and then I saw you and you had them on too. I was like, oh, okay, so it's not like totally weird.
Well, it's
But it was
interesting. It was a feast though too, right? Of lots of food.
Yes, and it was incredible feast. Like, I would love something like that. It was really nice. I mean, with just like fruit, you've been to those real expensive kind of place. I mean, I've been to
Sure.
them, and they're,
Right.
and they just bring out, like, they'll make waffles for you and all that. It was just
Right.
really, really nice, whatever this was about. And it was very comfortable. But
Right.
it was so weird wearing those black gloves. So I was just like, obsessed
And they were
with
black
it.
gloves?
Yeah, both of us had black gloves on. They were like black latex, like cleaning gloves.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
so I didn't add that to your dream repository because I didn't know if it was a nonsense dream or what it was.
Right.
But until I was looking this up, and for some reason it was just like how to, stay for being. You can enjoy people, but not let them like take over your energy. Basically, is what
That
what
makes
it is.
sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, Joe, I completely agree with you. The dream journal is a wonderful gift. What a
Same.
great grandma you are. So
Yeah.
Not yet.
yes, you are. But that
No,
is. So what a great, I think it's really important to keep dream journals. I mean, after about 10 years, I discard my stuff, but it's very interesting to go back and read them. And then
Yeah,
it's
I had dream
wow,
journals from
yeah.
like 30 years ago, and they're really interesting to read. Because
Yeah, and
some
how
of them you
much
think,
is true?
yeah, how much actually happened. It's pretty weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
My
So
road
it-
to hell is paved with one-page filled in diaries and journals. And I cannot tell you how many times I've sat down. Okay, this year I'm going to keep a journal, and day 3 I'm done.
Right.
Because I read what I've written, and I think this is just lame. Nobody wants to hear this.
But it's
Aw.
for you.
Put your heart
They're
on
for
yourself.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're for you.
And so when you review it like a few years from it could have tremendous meaning,
Yeah,
I think it's
exactly.
important to do. I think dreams are a gift. I really do. So when you get them, I
agree.
cherish them,
I
and
love
it's
to.
like write them down,
Yeah, exactly.
They talk together in different languages.
My older two
Wow.
girls will start talking in their sleep. Huh, that's interesting. What languages, I wonder? Are they languages that they know in like waking life, or are they languages that they that are unknown?
Yeah, I don't know. She'll
maybe
let
she'll
us
answer.
know. So Darcy
Dress up
wanted to
fancy
know.
gloves.
No, they weren't like fancy dress-up gloves. They were, a lot of time those cleaning gloves are yellow, but these are black
Yeah,
for some
that's-
reason. And they
yeah,
were very,
that's-
very thin, very thin.
You know who wears them?
Hmm.
Cops wear them a lot because they don't want to touch, the criminal that they're putting handcuffs
Yeah.
on. And but they want something masculine. They don't want light pastel or anything like that. I'm not kidding you. And they have these neoprene like surgical gloves, but they're black. And I noticed that cops favor those. Yeah.
Maybe
makes
maybe
sense.
we were on a psychic cop thing.
Maybe I don't know.
But it was a wonderful place, whatever it was. I liked the people. I liked everything about it. It was just like, why am I wearing these gloves? And why is Denise
That's
wearing
weird.
them? It was
That's
it made
weird.
sense.
A whole vibe.
Yeah.
It is a whole vibe.
It is. Well, and the thing is, it's like,
Okay.
but I've been on this like thing watching all these deep cleaning things that's my relaxation. So maybe that was
interesting.
why, but why she would be there in such this beautiful place that we were at, I don't know. Crystal Blue, hey.
Better
Darn it,
late
I'm
than
late. Well, we're always thrilled to see you, Crystal Blue. So
Yes.
thank you.
We don't
They
know
don't
their
know the
ethics, of
language.
course.
Oh, and
Huh.
our daughters are adults? Wow, and they're
that's
doing that.
interesting.
How interesting.
Huh.
That is
Interesting.
very interesting.
They don't know what they don't recognize that they're speaking.
How do they know they're talking to each other when they're sleeping? Is somebody else observing that? Or
Maybe the
do
do they
parents
live
see it.
together?
Yeah.
Or I wonder.
Have you ever dreamt you were speaking in another language when you're asleep? I have.
Well,
yeah.
only ones that I know, like Spanish.
Well, yeah, French and Italian, but I don't really know French. I mean, I just because you went to school and studied a little bit, I was like super fluent.
Yeah. Same. When I was taking Spanish, I used to have dreams in Spanish.
Okay, that's
But-
just
When I was in college,
Yeah.
the dorm people said I spoke in fluent Dutch. Fluent.
Really?
Because they didn't, yeah, and they didn't know what it was, and so they actually recorded it and brought it to and what is that noise?
That was her
Oh.
making it. I was
That
like,
was me.
I can't believe it.
That's incredible, Deborah. Dutch is such a hard language.
But my ancestors are Dutch, so maybe I got it from that. But yeah, they were just like, "What is she talking about?" And apparently, I would sit up and just talk to them, just completely, and it was
In
fluent
Dutch.
Dutch. Yeah,
That's weird. That's very weird.
yeah.
Huh.
So Tiff, my son would talk in different language too in his sleep. How interesting! I remember years ago, my nephew would do the same thing. Sometimes they would open their eyes like they are awake. It was so creepy.
I wonder
that's
if
what
it's past
the
life.
college
I mean,
people. That's what
I
I'm
mean-
thinking.
I think it's past life. I mean, don't you think it's a past life thing? I mean,
You took
that
the
you're.
words out of my mouth. That's what,
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Well, that's
Like
what
your
I'm thinking,
soul is
and the-
remembering. Yeah.
And my dorm mate said that I did that too. It was like I would just sling my legs off the side of the bed, look at them, and carry on a complete conversation. They had no idea, like I'm awake and talking to them.
Yeah,
and it
people.
was
Yeah, I
done.
used to do that too, but not
probably
in
died
Dutch.
in World War II, Deborah.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I was just picking up on ancestral blood. Who knows? I mean, I don't
Epigenetics.
know. Yeah, but that's so interesting, Tiff. So apparently that's common. HBH, yes, their other sister. They would come visit, so that's who would see them talking
Yeah.
in this other
I
language.
see. Wow.
How
Wow.
interesting.
Wow.
That is
that's
really
wild.
interesting.
Oh, that's really interesting. I've
That's a blue.
Okay.
I'm speaking in a
Situate when I
different
start to
language
wake
when
up.
dreaming.
Interesting.
It slips
Huh.
away when I start.
That makes
I
sense.
wonder if you're picking up on past lives or if there's
Yeah.
such a thing as parallel lives. If I don't know. I don't know how that
Yeah.
works, but it's really cool.
Yeah, or
I
like
like
you
it.
said, maybe it's some kind of deeply. I mean, your RNA encodes your life as you're living it, and then it becomes DNA later, right? So maybe
Yeah.
the DNA, maybe somewhere in your DNA is stored languages that your ancestors spoke.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
epigenetics. It's
Yeah.
markers on your DNA.
I
It's
think that
possible.
because when they found out that it was Dutch, that was the very first thing I said. I said, "Oh, my grandparents came from Holland." So it's like,
Right. Right. Or maybe it's
Or
an
maybe they
ancestor
were-
visiting you and they're talking in that
yeah,
language.
and maybe I was, who knows? I
Maybe
don't
you're repeating
remember
what they're
doing
saying.
it.
Yeah.
Did they translate what they recorded?
No, and they should have. That would have
Oh,
been very
man.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but apparently that's quite common. A lot of people are. So Tiff says, my father always said, never wake up someone who is dreaming, especially if they're sleepwalking. He was
That's
very
true.
adamant about that.
Yeah, my
So
mom
what
said that too.
happens if you wake someone up if they're sleepwalking?
I think they get
I've
very
heard that
confused.
too.
They
Yeah,
wake
I
up.
think they wake up and get really confused and kind of like
It comes
Little
from
panicky.
superstitious beliefs that you're harboring some sort of possessed spirit and you don't.
Oh,
wanna,
really? Oh.
Yeah. It's an
Okay.
old superstition.
Oh, so
Oh,
it
I
doesn't
see.
do physical harm, like they go into shock or something? Okay.
yeah. I wouldn't.
I've-
My mom used to say that, but I was like, well, okay,
Yeah,
It'll
I've always
confuse
heard
you.
that too.
yeah.
I just didn't know. I never knew anyone that sleepwalked.
That's
so.
an old wives' tale.
I did too.
Are you
when I was-
you did sleepwalking when you were
Yeah,
a kid?
Yeah.
Oh
I did
wow!
a lot.
Did your brother sleepwalk also?
Not that I know of. No, and I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I did sleepwalk a few times, but I know it was like sleepwalking because one time we had family coming over that I wanted to visit with, but I was so tired I fell asleep, and I guess I got up wherever I fell asleep and I started talking to them, and I was talking in a crazy like nonsense kind of way, and my mom realized I was actually, and I don't remember it because I woke up. And I didn't really wake up, but it came over to them, started talking to them, but I was asleep. So yeah.
My brother got up in the middle of the night, sound asleep, went outside, got on his bicycle. We lived
Oh.
in a cul-de-sac.
Oh
and
no.
rode his bicycle around and around.
Oh,
Oh,
my
no.
gosh!
That's
And-
dangerous.
Well, yeah. Well, yes and no. It was the middle of the night, and it was like a residential cul-de-sac. There was nobody around, but
Yeah, but
it
still.
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have been really dangerous. Yeah.
I was watching one of those. This was like maybe a year or so ago, so I don't remember all of the details. But it was like one of those History Channel Discovery things where they on the paranormal. And apparently there was like this abandoned place that was somehow haunted, and the people that lived next to it especially the women would invariably start sleepwalking and go into, it was like a trap where these spirits were like pulling them in, and then they would wake up in there and they're like almost falling off, and
Oh my God.
and somebody had picked up on it and they go running into it was like an abandoned hospital or something, and the
good
woman
Lord.
had almost like fallen down like
To a
an
basement.
old,
Yeah.
and apparently
That's
police
horrifying.
were called and all kinds of stuff, and so whatever this presence was in this place, and I think it killed one person actually, and
Wow.
and it was usually women, but I think there was one guy too, and they had documented this because they were calling the police and everything, and they would sleepwalk over there. Just think,
Wow.
it kind of freaked me out. It was like,
That
wow,
is scary.
that's kind of creepy.
That's super
I
creepy.
would move really fast.
Yeah,
Okay,
same.
so she's had dreams in German. It inspired me to take German classes. The dreams felt, wow. I wonder if it was
Impressive.
easy for you to learn German because of that. Interesting.
I'd be interested.
I
in what
started
the dreams
taking.
were.
I started taking Dutch because that's on my bucket list to go to Holland, and
They don't speak
kind of
English.
came to me not too difficult.
Yeah.
They do. They're kind of offended, but I wanted to learn it anyway. If
Yeah,
they're
that's
talking
cool.
behind your
Yeah.
back. And so I need to finish doing it. It didn't seem that hard to me, so it probably
Oh
is an
my
ancestral thing.
God, I got a book from the library once. Learn Dutch, and I'm pretty good with languages. Not great, but I'm pretty good with it.
Oh, I'm terrible at them.
I read page 1 and I thought, oh, no, thank you. It was incomprehensible. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird language, I think.
So HBH, we do a lot of spiritual support of other people in our dreams, people who have passed or others we don't know. I think she's talking about she and her daughters.
Yeah,
That's
that
cool.
makes
think
sense.
so.
Yeah, that is cool. I was going to say, along the lines of the sleepwalking, I had met this guy that when I was right out of college, who actually went to this, I think he went to the same school as me. But anyway, we were both working in this place doing computer animation. And I hung out with him one day and he was telling me this story about how he would have these night terrors that were over and over and over again, where he had a fan, like actually like an air conditioning unit with a fan in it. And every night he would have these nightmares that his family was stuck behind the fan and he had to go in there and save them. And he more than one time would be calling people on the phone when he was asleep and trying to get them out of the air conditioner and putting his hand in and almost getting his whole arm chopped off. And in multiple
God.
different situations, he actually woke up bleeding, all over the place and had to go to the hospital. And it was like, what the, really intense. Like, and he was obviously really disturbed by this, and didn't know why it was happening. But and it kept happening over and over and over and over and over again. It was really, I never heard anything like that, but it was dangerous. Like he was hurting himself at night. He needed to have somebody around to make sure he didn't kill himself by accident at nighttime. It was really crazy. Yeah.
One time, that it reminds me, but I don't know if I would characterize this as sleepwalking. Remember Sudafed? When people were taking that, and in
Sudafed?
Phoenix they
Yeah.
or Sudafed.
Mhm.
Well, apparently it really can mess people up, and I'm one of them.
Yeah.
And so I was having all of these extreme allergic reactions anyway in Phoenix, and I had forgotten about this until you said that. And somebody said, "Oh, take Sudafed." So I did, and I thought I fell asleep. Well, thank God, Tony came over, a friend of mine at that time, and he had a key, so he came into the house. And he said, I was wandering around. It was around Christmas time. And he said, I had to stop you. You had no idea what you were doing. You were taking all the linens and toilet, like towels and everything, and putting them in the toilet because I was concerned that there were germs on them, and I had to flush them to kill the germs. And then he said, I was literally like unplugging things and turning off the Christmas tree lights and all of that.
Wow.
Because I was very concerned about the time machine not working, because if the Neanderthals, he said, I just sat there completely telling him how Neanderthals will come through time and the Christmas lights will scare them. so you have to keep it dark. So that's where my mind goes when I'm out of it. And so
That is
I had
crazy.
no
That's
idea.
hilarious.
I had no idea any of this was going on until
No.
the next day.
Right,
And then
right.
and he stayed with me, and he goes, Deborah, you were just like so nuts from that. And I don't remember. So
taking more
you wouldn't.
Sudafed.
Yeah. Oh, and then I went into a severe depression, and they were telling
Wow.
people, like on the Phoenix news, don't take it because it makes people want to off themselves because and it did. It was awful for me.
I think,
But
I know I had a really weird reaction to Sudafed too. I think they've changed it since then. Was that back in like the 80s?
yeah, no, 90s.
Yeah,
It
or
was the
90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they made it not as strong because I remember having a really weird reaction to it as well.
I'd
Yeah.
like to RSVP right now, Deborah, to your next sleepover. No. No, thank you.
But it tells you how my mind works. It's not like normal. It's like I'm worried about the Neanderthals getting through.
Oh my God.
Pretty
I
funny.
need to make
I don't
them
wanna be- I
comfy
don't
when
wanna
they
be
come through.
Yeah, right.
No, I wanted them to be happy and not scared, but it's like that's how I think.
That's
But
pretty funny.
anyway, the story that you were talking about your friend, trying to get the people out from the fan,
Yeah.
it made me
His
think of that
parents,
because I
yes.
wonder if he was having some kind of, I
Drug.
think allergies kind of make people do stuff.
I don't know.
too.
It was.
I mean,
He
I
said
don't
it was
know.
happening for years.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was happening all the time, and that his family, I don't know. I think it was some kind of guilt or something like that. Because it was always he had to rescue someone from this horrible situation, and I think it was like repressed trauma that he was working through, and it was kind of
Okay.
because he had it was the same thing every time. It was his family was behind this thing, behind the fan, and he had to save them because they were going to get hurt by the fan. He would hurt himself. It's like and in a number of occasions he would call people while he was doing it while he was sleeping, and they would be like trying to wake him up. And I think he ended up I think he had a girlfriend who lived with him who would wake him up at some point, certain times, but a couple times like he actually ended up going to the hospital. Like he really hurt himself.
Was he cutting himself in his sleep?
Yes, he was putting his hand inside of the
He was
of
actually physically doing it.
He was
in the dream
physically
and
doing it.
in real life.
Yes, he
okay.
would being like he was like taking apart his air conditioning and trying to stick his hands in there to save his family. And he more than one time he cut himself really badly. And one time I guess he came close to like almost like severing an artery when I think his girlfriend
Oh
woke
my
him up or
God.
something like that. Yeah, and
That's
he was pretty
dangerous.
freaked out about it. Like he was worried he was going to die that way because it was really
Yeah.
intense. Yeah,
Oh, that's awful.
it was
So-
really the worst I've ever heard. Yeah.
Joy says, speaking another language in your sleep is amazing. My daughter, when she was about 12, spoke French while
Wow.
sleepwalking 2 times only, but so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Wow. It's got to be past lives.
It is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So, Joe, I'm going to throw out a hypothesis that dreams are multidimensional and closer to our true nature than real life.
Oh, you know what? Is that what
You
that
know,
is?
I think that's true.
so.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what the Aboriginal people think too. We call it the dream
Yeah.
time. The dream time is
because
the real,
this
and this
not
is the
real.
false, and this is the
Yeah.
fake
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Sure.
So there's Keith, off subject. Where's Bo? She'll be here the first Monday of the month. Good to see you, Keith. She hasn't been feeling well, so I told her first Monday of the month. So, Joy, I had a dream that I swear it felt like I was in another dimension, living a different life. It was so real.
Well, you were.
Yes,
Yeah.
you probably
it could have been
were.
another. Yeah, it probably was another life.
You know Philip K. Dick, the writer. I'm not really
Yeah,
into his
yeah,
science
yeah, I like him.
fiction, but
Yeah.
he had this whole theory, and people wrote him off as a complete lunatic when he posited this theory, and now it's actually accepted physics. So he believed that every time you make a decision to do something, the
Right.
whole other universe splits off where you didn't do it.
Right.
And this
Right.
just happens and happens and happens.
I don't know that
So
it's
there's-
accepted theory. It is a theory, though. It's not an
Well,
accepted
it's-
theory. It's one theory. It's one theory.
Yeah.
No, it is not.
Okay,
It's
well,
one
all
theory.
right, fine.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not.
it's my
It's
theory.
not. Has not
My
been
theory.
decided. It's
Okay,
not
so-
decided. Yeah, it has not been
Well,
decided.
they can't prove anything. All
Well,
these
that's right. That's why it's a theory.
parallel universes with you doing all kinds of different things are in each one, and you can hop over from one to the other. You know,
Yeah,
as you're going
theoretically,
you can
yes, you could.
kind of
Yeah.
visit yourself. Not you don't visit yourself, but you go into, and then maybe that would be an explanation for things like the Mandela effect, and you know,
No, the Mandela
time.
effect is not real. That's not real. I don't believe in it. I think it's
Yeah.
just bad memory issues.
Yeah.
I think that whole thing. There are people who have subscribed to that, like in the '90s. But I've also heard a lot of scientists repudiating that, or like refuting that, thinking that that's really not how things work. So it's not a settled science thing at all. It's just one potential theory. Like there was a bunch of movies made about that. Like Sliding Doors was about that. There's a lot of movies in the '90s that came out that were sort of playing with that idea. The butterfly effect is not really exactly the same, but kind of related. But there's a lot of scientists who don't necessarily think that universes get split off with every decision you make, but rather that, that there is like they think about it a different way. I'm not a scientist, but I know that that's not a real, that's not like, oh yeah, all theoretical physicists think that that's true thing. It's a theory. It's one of many theories, because that whole field of quantum entanglement, quantum physics, they are all at odds with one another in every possible way. There is not any consensus really, except for very, very basic consensus. Like we know that if you do certain things that, quarks don't go through, they seem to be basically, if you try to shove them through a glass, the person who tries to shove them through the glass with the accelerator, if you believe they're going to go, or you think that they're going to go through the glass, they do. If you think they're not going to, they don't. And so there is knowledge that there's some kind of effect of consciousness with the quantum world, and entanglement is that in that way. But all of the other theories are just totally theoretical, and they are not accepted across the board in quantum mechanics or in fact, if you listen to them talk about it, a lot of people debunk that are scientists. I mean, I do. I mean, I listen and read a lot of science stuff, and a lot they're very, and they kind of, if you ever hear what's his name, the guy who's a astrophysicist, he's a black guy with a mustache. Can't think of his name right now. Very famous. You've heard of him. You know what I'm talking about, right? What's the guy's name?
DeGrasse Tyson.
Yes, Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah.
He goes off on trying to
I've
conflate.
never watched.
You don't know who it's Neil deGrasse? Okay.
I know
Well,
his face, but
but he goes off all the time on people conflating very minute kind of implications that there's entanglement with these broader ideas that are metaphysical. He's really, really hardcore not happy about that, and a lot of scientists feel that way. In fact, I have a physicist who's a client of mine who gets really worked up about that as well. So, that's not really true. There is, and even that book we read, the New Science of whatever it was, which was really interesting. A lot of scientists think that guy's like ridiculous. You know what I mean? They get really mad about it.
They burned Giordano Bruno at the stake.
Yeah, but he's not Giordano Bruno. The guy is just he's a scientific historian.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying that science and
that's not why they burned Giordano Bruno at the stake either. They burnt him at the stake for a different reason. Actually, I just read that.
At the stake for suggesting many universes with intelligent life. That's why he was burned at the stake.
Yeah,
people think it's because of heliocentrism, but that's not.
Yeah, that's
not why. It's because he suggested there were ETs who were smarter than we were all over.
That would do it probably back then. They probably thought he was talking to demons or something.
I'm not a scientist either, but I know a good story when I see one. And here's one from Chris. This is crazy. When I was in 6th grade, I dreamed someone was trying to murder me by our favorite fishing hole. When I told Mama, she said, "Your daddy dreamed the same thing last night. We didn't fish
Wow.
there again." That
Wow.
wow! I wonder if
That's
something
creepy.
that is really wow.
That's creepy.
That's one of those.
Wow.
Joyce says, "Oh my
Wow.
God, Crystal
Warning.
Blue! Good thing you guys didn't go back to that fishing spot. That was definitely a warning." And I agree, Joy.
Yeah, 100%. That's really
Wow.
creepy. But
Was
that's
there ever anybody murdered or caught killing somebody? Or
I don't know. The thing kind of. Let me see if I can. My
well, it kind of reminds me of that dream you had where everybody was dreaming about that white car thing and that whole
Yes.
situation.
yes,
You know.
exactly.
Yeah.
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 It really
I mean-
spooked us.
It should. I mean, that was definitely a warning that you shouldn't go there. I think so.
Okay,
I would
so some.
listen to that.
Let me see if I can. My thing is screwing up here. All the comments kind of filled up, and I can't find where
And
I
then
am.
you can't get them.
Yeah. Okay, so let me see. Go.
What?
Oh. Whoa,
Whoa,
Crystal. There we go. They're coming back up again.
No, not in the
Chris-
spot. Mom and Daddy both took the kind of thing seriously. Good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
that's awesome.
wise to do so.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I think that's all the comments right now.
God, I
So,
wonder
yeah.
who's wandering around their neighborhood, you know?
Yeah, somebody bad. And maybe, I don't know, maybe just something about her would have attracted somebody who was stalking her and then they didn't know
Oh,
it.
don't
Or something,
blame
you know?
her.
I'm not blaming her. I'm blaming maybe somebody was, they unconsciously, they picked up on some weirdo
That
who
is
was watching
really
her or
weird.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really weird.
but
Yeah.
yeah, really good, interesting stories. That's I'm glad they took that dream seriously because
I am too.
especially for both of them to have it the same night. That's pretty significant, I think.
For sure.
So,
That's really creepy.
all right. Well, any more comments or? It looks like I can't tell if the chat is frozen or what. I don't know what happened here.
Huh.
It's not, you can't see it.
Well, there is
No.
internet kind of glitchiness going on. Who knows? Could
Yeah.
be.
I don't see
Maybe that.
anything.
I don't either. She's the one who's got the control of that, I think. Let me see. Oh,
Yeah.
private chat, comments.
Yeah, it's the one that says comments.
Yeah,
so the
no, I
last
think
one-
that's it. Yeah, that's all I see. That was the last one. Crystal, Blue Persuasion. No, not in that spot. Yeah, it was the last one.
So
That's it. Yes.
that's all the slides I had. I had one. I'll just play that last little movie, little AI
Okay.
thing before we close. But anything else before we sign off here, or
I think that, you know, all of this stuff is just mysterious. And there's definitely, obviously, like what you're saying, that consciousness is beyond our understanding. Science doesn't have a good understanding of it. You know, we don't really know or understand it. But I think just being open to it and just kind of trusting in it is the thing you have to do, really. Because science is never going to get to the place where they fully understand this for probably 1,000 years, I don't think, or maybe 10,000 years. It's just it's way too sophisticated. Yeah, I do trust in the
HBH.
dream world too. Yeah.
and
Yeah, maybe.
science will
I think
catch up.
someday science will catch up, but not in our lifetimes, I
And
don't
that
think.
presupposes there'll be a science in 5 years.
Yeah, right. It may not be.
Well, I
I'm
think
such
the really.
an optimist, you know.
I think the important thing is to keep dream journals. I think they're very important to do. And if you get something really else, you know, go to Denise's repository and write it down. I want to learn how to get back to that place from general anesthesia, but without the drugs and surgery. I have questions.
Yeah.
Well, microdosing, people are into that.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you have out of body experiences on that though, necessarily.
I'm not willing to try to find out. I'm of a generation where I know a lot of people who dropped acid a lot. And,
Yeah.
you know, they're perfectly fine. It didn't seem to have any lingering effects. But my grasp on reality is too tenuous. I'm not going to take the chance.
Oh, that's not true. You have a very
You're
good
pretty,
grasp on that.
you're pretty
Yeah.
grounded.
Yeah, you are. You are.
I like to stay that way.
Well, there you go.
I'll just watch the DMT documentary.
That sounds good.
Everybody
Yeah.
else act like a fool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, let me put this. These were some old 1800s kind of premonition, and they're from the real newspaper accounts. So I'll just go ahead and play
From
these.
a dream with the feeling that it wasn't just a dream. History is full of stories like that. Not legends, not campfire tales, but newspaper reports printed and syndicated for thousands of readers across America. Tonight, 2 of them. The first ran in the Valley Sentinel on April 15, 1886, reprinted nationwide after appearing in the Detroit Free Press. In a room full of detectives, a man made an unusual claim. "I trust dreams," the room laughed. Then he told them why. Years earlier, traveling from Cleveland toward Pittsburgh, he dreamed of a husband and wife on his train. The husband, rough. The wife, frightened. In the dream, they crossed the narrow platform between cars, and moments later, the woman fell into the darkness below. The husband called it an accident. But the dreamer had seen a fresh scratch on the man's hand, cufflinks engraved with the letter W, and felt a chilling certainty that he'd just watched a murder. The next afternoon, he boarded another train. And there they were. The same man, the same woman, exactly as he'd dreamed them. He followed them. Then it happened again. A scream. The woman vanished into the dark. The husband cried for help. This time the dreamer accused him on the spot, pointed to the scratch, grabbed his wrist. There on the cufflinks was the letter W. William Weber was arrested. But there was a problem. The only witness had learned everything in a dream. Without real evidence, Weber was released. Whether he was guilty or whether the dreamer had glimpsed a tragedy before it happened remains one of the strangest stories American newspapers ever carried. 20 years later, another dream made the papers. The Chickasha Star and Telegram, June 2nd, 1906, also syndicated nationwide. Its subject was William H. Allen, a respected educator and school superintendent. 1 year before his death, Allen dreamed he saw his whole life spread before him like a map, each decade laid out in order. Where the 6th section should have been, there was nothing. And on the back of the 5th, a warning. Illness would strike on his 52nd birthday. Survive it, and he'd live into old age. If not, his life would end. Allen dismissed the dream and barely thought of it for nearly a year. Then, on the morning of his 52nd birthday, it returned to him. He mentioned it to his wife over breakfast, saying he'd never felt healthier. A few hours later, he fell ill. He came home, sat quietly reading his newspaper, and the paper slipped from his hands. He collapsed. Within moments, William H. Allen was dead. The cause, apoplexy. The papers added one final detail. Years earlier, Allen had lost a young son. A psychic friend suggested the voice in the dream had been the child's, allowed to give a warning, but not to reveal the inevitable.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, that is weird. That is
You know,
very
but it kind of raises a question, like, what are psychic ethics? Like the first guy, you know, and it goes to, because they couldn't, like, prosecute the guy, even though he had seen all of this happen in the dream. They pushed the wife, you know.
right.
But how do you prove a murder that way? Or, I mean, did he have a responsibility ethically to somehow
Stop
coerce the wife to, hey, come on over, I want to show, you know what I
Probably
mean? I
should
don't
have
know.
done that. That's
I
probably
didn't.
what he
I
should
wondered
have
why
done.
he didn't do that.
Yeah, that's same with me. I'm like, why didn't he?
But maybe in those times, or like the husband, he seemed kind of, you know, maybe he's some control freak that like didn't allow her to really do any. I don't know what would you do. It's like, I guess for something that strong to see the W on the cufflink, it seems like you should try to do something.
I would probably have tried to interrupt that myself.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but then I have that kind of stuff happen all the time, and I would trust that was real. Maybe he wasn't sure Maybe you just thought, well, this is a
Right.
weird coincidence. This is a weird, and didn't know how to
Right.
handle it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did you notice that all of that paperwork in the background was in some foreign language?
Oh, it's just AI. Like I said, it's AI. I write the story and then I tell AI to just generate a fast script so I'm not up all night creating a movie. So that's why it's it's just AI like images.
Yeah, but it's interesting though, because we were just talking about people speaking in other languages. So there's the coincidence
true.
there. Kind of
That's
weird.
true. That's
Also,
true.
your AI has very bad manners.
Why do you say that?
In those days, gentlemen would never wear a hat inside. I mean, you might see it on movies, you might see it. No, I'm serious. When
It doesn't know that.
Helen and her hats. You have me so freaking paranoid that I won't wear a hat around you. It's like,
What are you talking about the hats? I don't know anything about Helen and the hat.
oh, she
What's she
hates
doing?
people wearing hats inside or whatever. So I mean, I
Really?
wear 'em, but it's normal out here. It's like when the wind is bad. I mean, 60,
Well, you have a problem with
80% men
hats?
and women.
You have
Yes,
a
she
problem
does
with
not
hats?
like hats.
indoors,
Really?
men who wear hats indoors, it's rude. It's considered poor manners.
Who considers it rude besides you?
Well, traditionally, it's poor manners. Nowadays, nobody has any manners. So
You know, nobody wears hats really, except for baseball caps, really,
those are hats.
or like hats that are like for warmth. But most people don't even wear hats. You know, they used to wear those crazy hats, but people
Yeah,
don't
Well,
really
they
wear
wear
them.
cowboy hats out here. Cowboy hats, baseball hats. Yeah, a lot of us do because it's windy and whatever.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
wear
right.
hats. It's like your hair looks like crap covered with a hat.
Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't. Yeah,
But
there must be
Helen
some
would
old
just be
timey rules.
horrified out here in Arizona.
You should
It's
write.
like,
You should do that on your Ask Your Irish Granny. Is the protocol of hats is what you should write about.
Yeah,
You know that,
that's a
Helen?
good idea. I'm going to send a copy to
'Cause
the
I don't know
Texas
anything
Rangers.
about that.
Those guys are so obnoxious with those stupid white cowboy hats, and they wear them inside in interviews in a three-piece suit, and they've got
How
this stupid.
Dare they? Yeah.
Well, it's
Oh, you're
it's
funny.
ridiculous. It looks out of place to me.
Right,
well,
right.
that's considered dress up out here to some of the things.
Yeah, yeah.
You
So
wear a
yeah,
white hat.
they don't
yeah.
know any better. You got to educate them.
Well, no, it's part of the custom. It's like showing respect. It's opposite of what she's saying.
I see.
The men wearing the white cowboy hats at like a gathering.
Yeah, but they're wrong.
It's a sign of respect.
If you
A lot of
if you
natives
look
do too.
old cowboy movies, you'll see they always take off their hat. Howdy, ma'am. They always take off their hat. because
Well,
it's
they
rude
used
wear
to
a hat.
back in the day. They would. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. And people would take their shoes off too when they
Yeah.
came
and
in.
I don't know if this William S. Burroughs, if you guys know who he is, he was a writer, beat poet. He used to freak out about people putting hats on the bed. I guess there's some kind of weird
yeah,
superstition
bad luck.
about it.
Yeah, it's bad luck to put a hat on a
And
bed.
he would be like, "Don't put the hat on the bed." But I never heard about that. You should just write out all the weird things about hats that you know, and you should put that
Yeah.
on your Substack so people can
Good idea.
know the etiquette of hats, because I don't know that. But this whole thing reminds me of when I was in a band and I was a guitar player and singer and everything. And there's the next band was coming up and there were a bunch of jerky dudes, like really aggressive macho guys. And this guy's like just on my ass, like just being a total like misogynistic douchebag. And my friend, who was a woman, goes, she goes, "You, sir, are no gentleman." And she meant it. She was really mad. I was like, "Okay, thanks, Kendra, for that. That was lovely." But yeah, not
I
much
wanna
of an
know,
insult.
Joy, how come you don't get the paper? You can get the newspaper. I get the paper.
Well, she might be real rural like I am.
Yeah, it's not that
Words.
easy.
Paper delivered.
No,
Maybe if you pay a lot of
we
money,
don't even
maybe.
have the mail delivered here. You have to drive down to the post office.
Yeah,
So
but they'll mail you. You can have.
yeah,
a
but you'll be
subscription.
getting a paper like a week late. So a lot of people just
Don't do
do it
Well,
online.
Like I
yeah,
told Crystal earlier, better late than never.
yeah.
I mean,
But I mean, I get
But
like the New
it's
York
true. I
Times.
love, yeah.
Yeah.
I love newspapers, so I just like, and the thing is, a lot of like small towns don't have because they can't afford it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's part of what the problem in our society is that we don't have these little small town homegrown journalism newspapers. It's just this canned crap that, you know, from whatever.
Ours has gone, our local paper has gone all on the computer. You can't get it physically anymore.
It's
so I
very
get it from
expensive.
the big city, and it's my biggest indulgence because I like to read the paper. I like to cut out articles that I can talk about later. I like to do the crossword puzzle in situ, you know, in the paper.
Yeah.
And I have a parrot. I put it in her cage.
Well, it's perfect for you. Yeah.
Multi-use.
Yeah, right.
So, Crystal Blue says the hat thing, it was considered rude.
rest
My
my
husband,
case.
we were talking about this the other, well, it is, but a lot of traditions have changed now.
That's true. That is true.
Victoria, I once dreamt about a murder that would happen a year later, but was not given enough specific information to do anything about it. The crime happened a long way from me, and I had no link to it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's.
Victoria.
But that is, you know, like that thing, like, you know, if you could stop it, could you? But if, you know, she probably
Well,
didn't.
most of the time you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
like, you know. Yeah.
You might be a crime-solving dreamer. Good point. There are people who do that. It's fascinating. Very good point, Joy. That's true. Victoria, you should, I hope you're journaling your stuff. Hats should always be removed indoors, says Joy.
Okay,
You guys are
There
just
you go.
absolutely...
So you should write a piece about this and see what people
You
say.
guys would just hate that out here where it's like winds of 50 miles an hour, your hair looks like crap, everyone just wears a hat. So what's more rude, having your hair look awful or wearing a hat? What is more
I
rude?
think she's going to say hat. I'm going to go with Helen says hat.
I say, how petty, who cares? But that's me, I really don't care.
I think when you have something sort of literally beaten into you when you're a child,
Yeah,
it's
that
like,
would do it. Yeah.
I actually get physically, when I see it, I just, oh my God.
That's true. That's
I had
true.
my son-in-law so cowed. He'd always take his hat off when he came in the house.
Oh,
But
wow.
It's been almost 20 years now, and he's back to wearing a hat.
Oh, too bad.
Pure
Yeah.
pressure.
Well, manners of speech, those are the ones that really kind of got drilled in for me. So, you know, I just keep my peace and don't say anything, but some of them are like, whoa, okay.
Like what?
Oh, I'm not going to get into it, but I don't want to be the grammar police, but it's kind of like, I understand why you feel, because when it's train beat into you,
Yeah.
you kind of have a reaction, and then you step
Yes.
out of it, and it's like, who cares? We've got bigger problems in the world.
Well,
So
yeah,
I'm just
right,
kind of,
right.
that's like where I'm at.
Yeah. Yeah,
But she
that's
was
true.
told the hat thing by her dad and husband. True. When I was in the Air Force, I always had to hold it on my head when outside, or it would blow off.
That makes
There you
sense.
go. Yes.
Windy.
Oh my gosh.
The
So
language thing, Deborah, I think we all speak in the vernacular, you know, when we're just not thinking about it and we're just yakking away. You're going to say things that if you wrote them down, you'd be horrified.
oh yeah.
I discovered that really quickly when I made my first few videos, and I actually watched them in those days, and I went back and looked, and I was like, oh my God, that's not good grammar.
Well, I say things like you know quite a bit, which
Yeah, I do that too.
is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
there's a
go
lot of I do
There's
too.
a lot.
Yeah.
And I think
That's
that's why I
okay.
freeze doing videos by myself, and I'll just do take after take after take because I just find every single error with it.
Oh,
But
you
then
too much
I'm
of a
just
Virgo.
looking back, and it's just like we just have to look at things in a bigger perspective. Who cares?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. People don't
I'm
really care about it.
Yeah.
It's the him and me and he and I and she and those pronoun mixtures that people get wrong that make me crawl the wall. You'll have
Yeah,
what they
same
choose
here.
to be anchors, you know, they're supposed to be journalists, and oh my God.
Same
Yeah,
here.
yeah. It's when people who are journalists do it that kind of like, you should know better than that. Yeah.
Exactly. I dreamed the victim's first name, the scene of the crime, the weapon, and the culprit, and the time of year. It was spooky when I heard about it a year later.
Yeah.
bet.
Victoria, did they arrest the perpetrator of this
the right
crime, or
person,
did
yeah.
you need to like send them a hint, or, and even that, like,
You have to be
you
careful.
know, what was that TV psychics or what? Some kind of psychic detectives. There was one where that lady had seen like a crime,
Yeah.
and she went to the police, and then she was arrested. 'cause
She
Yeah,
became
right.
so,
Have
she
to be
became a
careful.
suspect. Yeah.
yeah. So in a
Yeah,
way,
you have
it
to be
kind of
careful. You
throws
can't
you into
really.
that too.
Yeah, you can't really do anything about that unless you're called in by someone in the family or the police. Then you can kind of tell them stuff. Otherwise, you do put yourself in a situation where they think you're a suspect, because how do you know that stuff? And why are you some random person coming into this situation? You know, it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of dodgy to do that.
End
kind
up
of
getting
stuff.
arrested for terroristic threats.
Yeah. Well, we're at 2 hours, so
Yeah.
I think it's time to wrap it up. I want to
Yeah.
thank you so much to the people who called. That
Yes,
was
that was awesome. That was so
Finally,
cool.
thank you. That was so cool.
That was great.
And I
Yeah,
just
please do it
appreciate
again.
everybody that was here, and of course, you too. Thank you. She learned about after the arrest was made. Well,
Right, you
that's
probably
so
found out about it on
interesting.
TV. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that happen once with someone who, there was like a murder in my, like within a square mile of where I lived. I dreamt about it, and then I heard about it on television a few days later, and that's how I found out. I thought it was just like a really weird dream. I didn't know it was a premonition about somebody's actual murder. But
Yeah.
you can't, how are you going to know about that unless something like it comes out on the news,
Exactly.
it's real. Yeah.
But anyway, thank you everybody that showed up tonight. Denise and Helen, you guys are great. I could tell your back's hurting you.
It
So,
is. Yeah, it's really hurting.
So I'm going to hit the end stream, and we'll see you all next time. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
Everybody.
Thanks
Thank
to
you, everyone.
everybody,
Bye.
especially our callers. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. We feature a live show on the first Wednesday of each month and premieres on the remaining Wednesdays. Got a story? Tell us on our message line at 928-288-2942. See you next time.